ever.
All right, hello, welcome to the Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast. I am your host, Calvin, sitting down today with my co-host, Charles, a.k.a. Dad. What's going on there, Charles, a.k.a. Dad?
Man, just loving life right now, my son. Just loving life.
Today we have a very special guest with us. We have my younger brother in here in the Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast studio. His name is Blake Leatherwood.
Hi, I'm Blake.
We will refer to him as Blake or Bear or other expletives.
Tactical as bacon.
So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit for the audience.
Well, I'm Calvin's brother and Charles Leatherwood's youngest son. I'm a pretty big dude, so that's why Dad calls me Bear. I'm big and hairy. But
this is a family show.
This is a family show. But kind of like Calvin, I've kind of grew up with guns all my life and handling them and shooting them. And I wouldn't say I'm not as into them as much as they are, but they've definitely done more than I have.
We're getting them there, I think.
Yeah, you're getting me there.
Slowly.
But surely.
So why don't we all talk about what we did in guns this week? Why don't you talk about what you did there, Dad?
Well, to be honest with you, another podcast has went by, and I haven't had an opportunity to go shoot yet, but I did sign up for a match this weekend.
Wait a
minute. Let me rephrase that. I reached out to my oldest son because I was at work today to sign me up for a match this weekend in God's country, Texas. And I appreciate that very much because for some reason, with all of the Big Brother, all the other crap on our computers, I could not get in today. So my son, thank you very much, got me signed in.
Is on my phone, on one of my other web browsers that I use. I have your info and my buddy Adam's info saved on practice score. Because I've signed Adam up for a match before. I just clicked to sign him up. But no practice or anything this week. Just too busy.
Too busy. I went down to South Texas and saw you and received my bullets that you ordered for me. Thanks to your wife. They're still sealed. There's still 1,000 of them in the box.
There's 99 of them.
What?
There's only 99. I took one.
999.
Try don't teach math.
And then I'm very excited about this match because there's 4 squads now.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was going to say something about that. There is only 4 squads, so that's good.
Oh, wow.
4 squads be...
5 in a classifier or 4 in a classifier?
Well, 4 in the classifier.
So 5 total.
So I'm planning on that for this week to be graded as a C class. I'm a D right now. I need to go up to a C class. I'm jacked up. It's supposed to be 100 degrees.
Yeah, gonna have to hydrate. Maybe we can make them. Maybe that can be our podcast next week, talking about shooting a match in the heat.
Well, it's funny because you and I shoot in 2 different environments. Yours is hot and humid. Mine is hot and drier than a popcorn fart, which both ways it takes it out of you.
So maybe that could be a future episode. We could talk about that, what we do, because I really refined what I do, and it's helped me a lot. Because I had a match in May, and I struggled because I wasn't ready for the hot because it had been so cool.
Right. And drinking beer the night before is not a common practice to use.
We can talk about do's and don'ts. All right. So why don't you tell us about, Blake, what you did in guns this week?
Well, I don't do much in guns in general, other than buying a new one. That's probably a couple of weeks ago now, but I just got the new Security 9, Ruger Security 9, the American version. I shot it the day of that I got it, and I think it's like 15 in the mag, and it's a great gun. It's pretty light. Like I said, I'm a big dude, and so I got the full size, and it fit my hand really well and chambered really well, and I overall really enjoy it. It's a great gun.
It's basically like Glock 19 size.
Glock 19 size. almost a Glock 19 feel. It's like Ruger made a Glock 19.
Yeah, it's not a bad little gun. I'm gonna shoot it this week when we're gonna go to the range.
It's got Glock sights, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I used to be very like I've had Calvin and Dad's Glocks before, and I used to be very anti Glock sights because I didn't like the little U bracket. But now that I've like, what is it called when you like
dry fire?
Yeah, dry fire. I line them up a lot faster, so I'm really enjoying them now that I have them.
I wonder what kind of sight pattern it runs. I wonder how hard it would be to switch out the sights.
Not hard because I was looking on the manual about it, and it's just like unscrewing them, they slide off.
Okay, so they're like a dovetail.
When I buy mine, I'm going to change out the front sight.
See, that's what I want to do too. I'd love to get the fiber optic front. I think that'd look nice. You can see it a little easier.
I'm thinking about selling my shield and buying a bigger gun. We're gonna buy Amber a gun too. We're gonna buy her that 380 EZ because she's gonna do her CHL in August.
LTC, sir.
LTC, CHL.
Oh, I still call it LTC or CHL or something.
So she's gonna be doing hers in August. So we're gonna go get her that 380 gun because I found a balling deal. Like I found it for $319.
Really?
Online shipped with the transfer fee. It'll be like less than $350. So.
Hey, that's a great segue, if you don't mind, Bear.
Yeah.
Talk about a young lady in your life without using her name, how you've got her very intrigued in guns.
Yeah, so one of my friends of mine from way back when, we've been hanging out lately, and I'm the only one there that has an LPC and has an SLC and carries. And usually when we get to one of their places or my friend's apartment, I'll take it out of my holster and set it down. Just because I get tired of carrying it all the time, and we're at home and I trust them. Well, she likes to break them down, look at them, figure out how they work. She loves my shield. She loves to break it down as much as she can. In a sense, it sounds bad, but play with it, but kind of not really play with it. She's not playing with the gun. It's broken down. So like she's just looking at all mechanisms and stuff, and so I've got her a little gun nut. I got her good and trained though, because she's very good with like trigger safety and trigger discipline and treating it as it's always loaded, even when it's not. And
she keeps her booger hook off the gun's bang switch.
Bang switch, yeah. And that's one thing I really drilled in their head the first time we went to a range, because it's to me that's very important. But so now, like, I get a new gun, especially a new pistol that I'm gonna start carrying. To her, it's almost like a new puzzle, something else to figure out how you break down how it works, how this all goes together, and especially when it comes to like how it fires and stuff. And I recently took her out to the range, and she fired my shield, she fired the Security 9, and a couple of other ones we had, and she really enjoys it and wants to get one of her own. But unfortunately, household would not let her have one right now, so I got a little gun crazy, but she can't have a gun yet.
Well, hopefully she can get a gun. That'd be good.
Oh yeah. I think she has to be on her own before she can.
I got her a shield. I'll let her have for $200.
She'd take it up for you.
I got one for $300 and a bunch of holsters and night sights.
That $200 sounding better on my side.
I need to look at some holsters for my new gun, because I got the American version that has the American flag on the upper part of it.
Yeah,
you need to post that, Calvin.
Yeah, you can. I'll post a picture sometime this week.
It's a beautiful gun, man, and I really enjoy it. But I really want to keep that paint on there as much as I can. So I want to look at soft holsters for it.
I'll work it into
your agenda.
Yeah. So what I did in guns this week, since our last episode, I pretty much dry fired every single day for like 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, I went to Austin to shoot a match with Austin Practical Shooters Club in Maynard, Texas. If you're ever in the Austin area, first Saturday, they put on a really good match. I felt really good the whole match. I shot really well. I got in carry optics, I was 8th out of 15, which a month ago when I shot carry optics, I was 11 out of 13. So I'm slowly moving my way up. I have 2 classifiers on record with my carry optics. My first one's a D class, and then one I shot on Saturday was a B class. So I feel really good about it. I have a classifier match on Saturday I'm getting ready for. So the dry fire is going to continue. So that way I can, because I feel like with the dry fire, I tracked the dot better. I shot the dot better than I did when I first started. So good stuff. I haven't bought any bullets yet. I need to buy some bullets to get ammo load. We only got about 1,000. I have less than 1,000 rounds right now, so I got 3,000 or 5,000 primers and 4 pounds of powder. So enough brass to make a brass chicken happy. So I'm gonna get that going. So
hey, I sent you 50 rounds, so you're good to go that first.
Yeah. We had to put them in a special box so that way. Hey, but your ammo case gauges though. I case gauged your ammo. It fits in a case gauge. That's good. You're doing good things. That's one thing I was gonna tell you need to buy.
Me?
Yeah. So what case gauging is basically is making sure that your gun fits in the chamber. So that way you can pick out
the bullet fits in the chamber.
Well, the bullet the whole casing goes in the chamber.
Yeah.
So I bought this thing called the Hundo. I got it on sale because you can buy blim ones, and basically you can do 100 bullets at a time. So I'll send you the link. Sometimes you can find the blim ones. I would buy a blim one because otherwise they're expensive, but it works pretty good. So today what we're gonna do is we put out feelers. On our first, we just did on our Facebook page and we got nothing. So I kind of put out feelers on Instagram. I put feelers out on a couple pages that I'm involved with on Facebook, and we got some really good questions. So I'm just going to read the question, or some of them I'm going to summarize. I'm going to mention the people that sent it to me, and then we'll just kind of all answer it. So I know you don't do a lot of competitive shooting, but
I've listened to y'all long enough.
So feel free to jump in. Okay. So our first question comes from Tristan Oglesby and Kevin's James Baker. Before I start, and I'm just going to plug, guys, we go on Facebook, type in Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast. You'll see the logo. Click on it. Click the little thumb. Make it turn blue. Like our page, and then that way, whenever we solicit for questions, you guys can ask. You can ask us questions.
You should start saying and shoot that like button.
Yeah, because I would like to do questions like listener questions. So y'all do that, and I'll plug it in again. I'll link it in the show notes. So Tristan Oglesby and Kevin James Baker, both members of the Rudy Project Shooting Team, both sent me the same question, talking about how you decide on what is most effective stage plan. So stage planning, I think, is a big part of USPSA. Because there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, but in some stages, for me, really, it's just knowing your strengths. So if I know that I'm not good at shooting on the move, I'm not going to try to shoot everything on the move. I'm going to try to find 2 or 3 positions, and I'm going to try to shoot everything from those 2 or 3 positions and try to maybe blend positions. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, you and I have discussed this quite a bit. We walk up to a stage and you walk it and you got it in your head. This is how you're going to shoot it. And I'd say 80% of the time you still shoot it that way. But sometimes when that buzzer goes off, you change your mind.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, especially when you're getting into it, is figure out where you're going to reload.
Yeah, and I think it's really division dependent. I think Kevin Baker, he shoots production. So in production, you start off with 11 rounds, 10 the mag, 1 in the chamber, and then your mags are at 10. So really figuring out, okay, can I shoot 8 here, then reload, then 4 here, then reload? Figuring out where you're going to reload. You shoot limited, I shoot carry optics.
But I shot production for a good while.
Yeah, so figuring out where you're going to reload is really important, especially if you're a low cap division, because that's, you don't want to be in a position where there's 5 targets or 6 targets and then you run out of bullets, have to do a standing reload unless you can blaze your standing reload. So really, that's the big part of it. Like what you said about changing your stage plan at this last match. I got to the match a little early. I went and I walked every single stage and I came up with a decent idea. And then I was shooting with my buddy Tyler Northcutt, who just made the pro team for Rudy Project. And listening to him and some of the better guys, I didn't change my stage plan. I just I modified it, adapted it a little bit to my strength and what I thought would be best. One thing I did is as soon as I created the plan, once because when you get there, you get your 5-minute walkthrough. Once I had my plan, I didn't change it. And then what I would do between shooters is I would close my eyes and I would sit there and I would visualize, okay, my first position are these two targets. And I would visualize what is the dot going to look like for this far target, this close target, or these two really tight targets, or this still target. And I did that. And then as soon as that buzzer went off, it was just like second nature, muscle memory kicked in, and I felt like I shot that. That's one reason why I shot the stages so much better. I also kind of did that in dry fire. I kind of came up with like a little stage plan in dry fire, and then I tried to visualize it and then tried to execute it. So really, it's just division dependent. It takes time. Eventually you'll just figure out like, hey, this is the best way to do it. I kind of had a revelation on one of my stages. I tried shooting these targets on the move. And Tara's like, well, there's no reason to shoot it on the move because you can get to this final position and shoot everything from here. So instead of having 3 positions, you only have 2 positions. So part of it's stuff like just shooting a match and learning stuff like that. And it's also knowing your strengths and your weaknesses.
The other good thing I can give these guys for a little advice on production is when you're walking it before you shoot it, draw you a line in the dirt with your foot on where you need to reload.
Yeah, that and like knowing where exactly your positions are. Like not just, okay, I'm going to stand here. Because if you like stop here and you have to shuffle, you're just wasting time. That's one of the biggest things I learned from my match I shot a month ago is when I got to a position, I made sure I could see every single target.
Right. And I mark those areas too. Try to.
Yeah, you try to. And you can kind of do it after that person before you shoot and they're
marking.
It. Yeah, you can, and you're still, you do your last few like walkthroughs or run throughs. You can kind of do that. You want to add anything there, Blake?
Well, I know, like just from the little bit I've watched from y'all, shoot, I don't think I could do that very quickly, and especially moving and shooting. I think it'd be very difficult, and it'd be something you really would need to practice more because I can see that really being not difficult, but throw off your shots more. Yeah, really having to plan it out and take where your shots at. I know that would probably mess me up pretty good too.
Shooting on the move is like you only need to do it. That's the only time you're gonna like. If you can shoot them on the move, like if there's like 2 targets or 3 targets, and you can shoot them on the move, and you can't shoot them from another position. But yeah, shooting on the move is difficult. I've trained it, and it's hard. It's really hard. It's easier with the dot, but with iron sights.
Oh yeah, no.
With iron sights, it's really hard. And when you do your walkthrough, I know like when there's a conga line going in that 5 minutes, try to move through that stage. Like I try to move through mine full speed, like the way I'm coming into positions and stuff, because then it just kind of ingrains it into your memory.
You see, I was gonna tell you because I know with me the big reason I don't really do shooting stuff is it does make me a little nervous. I'm not like as used to it as Calvin and Dad are, but like I know with me I have dyslexia. And I know I get a lot of things where it's like, okay, right, left, and I can even planning on other things like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it then, and that buzzer goes off for me for doing other stuff. It completely changes my mind because then 50 other things come through, and so I can see how to try to make a plan, and that buzzer going off and completely throwing it out and going again can really be a big deal.
Yeah, and when we go shoot this week, we can do a little mini stage and see how.
I've done mini stages with you before,
so we can try it. I mean, I think especially since you do concealed carry, I think it's good for you to be able to think with the gun in your hand.
Because that's one thing I really want to get better at. Is that like draw and be ready to shoot.
Maybe Blake should start with IDPA because that'd be like super easy because everything's like laid out for you.
Jesus Christ!
What did you just disown me?
Not yet.
We both agreed that it's a good place to start.
It's a good place to start, but I think I think he would do good. He just needs to get into it a little bit,
Oh, yeah. And once you shoot your first like stage at your match, you're like hooked. You're like, oh my god, like you only shot for like 30 seconds and you want to do it again automatically, but then you got to go and pace targets. So
yeah.
It pisses you off. You got to wait for the other 19 people to shoot before you can do it again.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
All right. Well, I think we answered that question pretty well.
Tristan and Kevin, if you have any more questions, please follow up on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like the page. I don't think I'm always going to post it in a Rudy project. I don't want to spam those people. So yeah, like our page. We're gonna answer Doug Lawson's question. He asked 2 questions. But we're just gonna ask We're going to answer this first one. So what is the best division to bring new shooters into the sport? So that kind of segues from what we were just talking about. So what do you think?
You know,
if we were going to have Blake shoot on Saturday, what would you have him shoot?
I would either do a steel challenge or an IDPA.
Not competition, division within USPSA. So like limited, carry optics, production.
Oh, I'm sorry. Production.
You think production?
Yeah.
Why do you say production?
I say production because 99% of the time that's what you're carrying when you conceal carry.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like about it is, I mean, we're talking iron sights. You got what you got, and that's what you need to work with a little bit. But I think production is a good way to start. Your thoughts?
I think so too, because production kind of started as that. When it first started, it was like the bring what you got kind of division. It's like, bring what you got. You probably got, as long as you got 4 mags, 3 mags, that's 4 mags, it's 40 rounds. That should be plenty to get through a stage. I also think maybe limited minors okay too, because let's say they have like I started with a Glock. You started with the Glock 17. I started with the Glock 17. Or you even started with that Ruger. That's like 15 rounds. So there's a little bit less worrying about having to reload. Because, but I think either one of those would be fine because they're iron sights. If the person shoots a dot, like they're already shooting a dot, like maybe they carry with the RMR and they've been shooting for a while, maybe carry optics. If they have like their carry optic, like their carry 19 with a dot on it or something like that, that might be an option for someone that shot the dot. But like Blake, I wouldn't take Blake on Saturday and give him my Glock 17 with the dot on it because he would hate it because it's so hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to get used to. So production, what do you think?
I know for me personally, having something where it's like, okay, you have to put like, I don't know, because I know I've heard y'all talk about this, where it's like 2 into this target, 2 in this target, 2 in this target, and if you go this way, it'll be the best way. Like you go from right to left or something, depending on the stage, of course. But I think to me that would be better because then I know in my head I can plan out here, reload, here, reload. It's a little bit easier. But like I said, like when y'all start talking like carry optic and all that, I don't really know what those mean.
Well, the deal is too, I think when you're starting out, and it's kind of like me, I've shot that Ruger a lot. So I was comfortable with that gun, and I think that's when you're starting out, you need to be very comfortable with whatever firearm you're running, like my Glock now, that's like a second hand way I run with it now. But
yeah,
I think if you're going to get started in this sport, it's what you're comfortable with shooting. That's the whole thing. If you got a too complicated gun, you're going to be worrying about that and stuff instead of actually shooting.
Yeah, and I think too, production might be good because everybody's shooting like 9mm. They're all shooting minor power factor. So the scoring, if you go and you shoot limited, like you shoot limited minor, you're going to get blown out of the water by those guys that are shooting 40, especially if you're not shooting alphas. You're shooting a bunch of Charlies, a bunch of Deltas. So maybe shooting something where everyone's like on the same playing field. I would also say don't worry about your overall. When you first start shooting, just worry about having fun and being safe. And then just look at your division. Because if you look at overall, unless you're like a top tier dude or you're shooting open or you're shooting carry optics or PCC or just a really good limited shooter, you might not be at the very top. Like I was like 43 out of 75 overall, but then when I looked at, then I was 8th out of 15 in my division. So I'm more worried about my division because if I go to a major match, I'm not trying to win my overall right now, at least. I'm just trying to win, C class or B class or whatever carry optics. I would like to win my division. So anything else I want to add before we answer this next controversial question?
No, I'm ready for the next one.
So Douglas Lawson also asked us another question. Okay. Why does everyone hate PCC shooters at a pistol match? I think you kind of answered your question but why don't you? So you don't know what PCC is? PCC is basically an AR-15, a rifle that shoots a pistol caliber. So you get an optic, a red dot. You can have 2 optics. You can have 2 red dots. There's no mag capacity, so most of these PCC shooters are running 50, 60 rounds. So many of the times, unless it's a classifier, they don't have to reload. Of course, if it's AR-15, they have the pistol grip, they have the stock, and they have the other hand on the grip, and it's a 16-inch barrel, so which might not be as too advantageous. So why don't you tell us your thoughts there, Dad, about PCC?
Okay, kids, gather up a chair and sit down.
That sigh is not a good thing, folks. We've heard that sigh many a times in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay, I've only shot with one person that shot PCC that wasn't a church.
Okay.
Okay, this guy walked up, did everything he was supposed to do, and shot it, and he was cool. The rest of the people that shoot with us, when they walk up, it's their, all of us have got our guns on our gun belt. We got our mags in our mag holders. We're ready to go. But no, these folks got to walk up, got their little gun and their little scabbard, got to go through the whole deal of getting it out. The RO sitting there talking to them. Well, make sure you got this, make sure you got that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then they shoot. And then when they get through shooting, they turn around and look at us like they're the biggest Matt Dillon in the world because they're using a freaking rifle when we're using handguns. And I don't know. It just seems like I'm sure these are really nice guys. And one day I would like to go to one of their matches when that's all you shoot.
They had one out in Houston.
They did?
Yeah, last weekend.
But when you bring a rifle to a pistol fight and then you act like a person, I was like, really? Come on, man. I was really laughing. The last match I shot at, there was a guy that did that. And he was a pud, but I really enjoyed his wife because she was running a pistol and she was shooting a 38 Super.
Oh, 38 Supers are crazy bullet.
And I asked her, why are you shooting a 38 Super? She goes, because I like it. And I said, yes, ma'am. So you know who wears the pants in her family.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, to me, it I understand there's not that many places they can go shoot and all that, but it's kind of a pain in the butt when they show up, It's kind of like kissing your sister. It tastes all right, but deep down, it ain't right.
Yeah. But what you're talking about with them having a bag and stuff, that a lot of that is, I think some of that is very club dependent. Because I've seen a couple clubs where they make them bag on the line, and then I've seen some clubs where they just make them chamber flag and just go carry gun up. So that could be a club thing. But it is annoying because it takes them forever to make ready. It takes them forever to show clear. And then, I've seen a couple PCC guys not, rack their chamber all the way because, that bullet will stay in there if they don't rack it right. And they shot, on the show clear and they've been DQ'd. My thing with PCC is a lot like yours. They complain about having these really hard shooting positions. In a match we shot today, not today, on Saturday, we had this really weird lean we had to do. And PCC shooters hate leans, but I understand why they allow PCC. I think it'd be good. I think it has its place for maybe kids or maybe people that can't shoot a handgun. If they have some hand deficiencies or something like that. These PCC guys, yeah, you're going to get hated on because you're shooting a rifle. And there's some guys I follow on Instagram. They shoot both PCC and regular USPSA. And they always post that they're they're in the top 5 overall. Well, I would hope you're in the top 5 overall because you're shooting a freaking rifle at a pistol match. And I wish they had more PCC matches so that way these guys and gals could go and shoot PCC. But it just and
I would
Mike
like to use the automatic shotgun on a steel challenge.
Yeah, and Mike, the guy I voted for USPSA president, Mike Valentine, he posted basically he supports he understands PCC is a new thing, but he basically said he said basically he doesn't want to remove PCC, but it's an option. So like if a match director doesn't want to have PCC at his match, they don't have to have it. That's like if they don't want to have a revolvers or carry optics that are open, they're not going to have it. So I don't know. What do you think, Blake? You're like the third. You're like You're the third party. You don't shoot competition. What do you think about this?
I can really see that being unfair because I know I have that carbine, that 9mm carbine, and that thing can be dang accurate, even though it's shooting the same thing as a pistol. So I can see that being very, very unfair, and how they can kind of think, "Oh, look at me," when they get up there. But I see the longer barrel of the pistol grip. But I do like what you said with maybe someone that can't really hold the gun right. Maybe it's a little bit older of a man or something, or a younger kid. But really, I think if you're going to a pistol match, you should be shooting a pistol.
Like if your son or daughter is under the age of 12, they can shoot a PCC. But once they get 12, 13, they can shoot a 9mm. There's this girl on Instagram that I followed. She shoots an open gun. She's like 8 or 9 years old, and she shoots an open gun. And those guns aren't light. Those guns have decent recoil. So, I mean, that's up to you. If you're letting your 17-year-old kid shoot PCC, I think you should call CPS. That's child abuse. But hey, whatever. It's 2019. I guess you can do what you want. But yeah, and PCC, like I posted this meme on Reddit, and I kind of pissed off Reddit. And a lot of the guys were like, well, it's not as easy as it looks, but I made master in 5 matches, or grandmaster in 5 matches. I'm like, well, guess what? I might not ever make grandmaster and carry optics, but that's cool. That's good for you. I'm glad you made grandmaster. So I don't know. I think that they should have their own separate nationals. I don't think they should be in optic nationals. They shouldn't be with like open. So I think and Mike Valentine, the guy who voted for USPSA president, he supports that too, because it's not even the same game. And Tyler Northcutt, our team captain guy from Rudy Project, he went and shot that match there in Houston, and he said some of the targets that were really close, like the really hosey targets, they cut them from like the shoulders up, so they only had like the head box and the shoulders to shoot at. So they made the target smaller, which is cool with me for PCC, because they should be a little bit harder to shoot.
And I get it. I don't want to knock those guys, because if they're really into that, power to them. And I understand, especially up in my part of Texas, there's not a whole lot of matches for those guys. But just don't be a prima donna when you walk up go to a shoot, man. Because everybody else is running handguns and all of that, and they're over there acting like a little banny rooster walking around. It's like, come on, man.
And if you have a handgun holster on your PCC rig, you're done. Okay? I've seen guys with that. Yes. So, and I'm gonna post a meme about it. So my memes, I think I'm gonna post memes on Thursday on my Instagram. So if you like memes about practical shooting, follow me. All right. So we got 2 more. We got 3 more questions. I'm just gonna answer this one really quick because it's from Jeff King. I posted in a reloading. He said, should limited allow 9mm to make major power factor? I think so, because I think you could probably load that at 2011 and it would be fine. I mean, they have 9 major and open, so I think that's a yes.
Yes.
All right.
Especially my loads.
All right. So we got 2 more questions. We're sitting at 33 minutes. We're doing pretty good. Which one should I do? Should I do the Paracast one? I'll say the Paracast one last. Okay. This next question comes for us from Andrew McDowell. He said, "What are the best dry fire drills to work on picking up the sight after the draw?" I guess I got to answer that one.
Yeah, you do, buddy, because I can't do dry fire. I get out there and play with it a little bit, and I'm going
to buy you some targets.
I can make targets.
Well, then make them.
I just have problems doing that. I guess because I get bored. Well, now maybe if I
need to do, you got a Kindle.
Yes.
You got the Kindle app on your phone.
Got what?
You got the Kindle app on your phone.
I do.
Do you have this is what I want you to do. I want you to download a shot timer app on your phone. Okay.
Got
and
it.
I want you to go buy Ben Stager's Dry Fire Reloaded book. It's only like $10, and he has a whole bunch of drills, a whole bunch of things that you can do in there.
Yes, sir.
You will see a huge difference. Yes, sir.
Hey, Dad, and we got them the old science fair type boards that ain't nothing on them.
Yes, sir.
I can make you some because I've seen Calvin's targets, and I can get the measurements. I can make some templates, and we can spray paint them on there. You can just sit there and set those up and practice on those.
I'll just buy you some Ben Steger Dry Fire targets and send them to you. Because they're scaled, they have all this stuff on them. But that's what I would do. Okay, we can talk about that off air. So I say working because you're working. So I don't know if this guy's shooting iron sights or a dot. So I'm just gonna assume he's doing either one. So what I like to do is when I dry fire, I'll go and I'll dry fire for about 5 minutes just doing draws, and then you can work transitions. So set up your targets, draw out the target, and then just transition between a few. And then once you're kind of warmed up doing that, set a par time. So today I was drawing and transitioning between 3 targets, and I set a par time of 3 seconds, and I smashed that. And then I did 2.5 seconds, and I moved it all the way down to 2 2/4 seconds. So, I mean, that's the best thing to do. Even maybe draw, see the sights, reload, and then see the sights again. That's the best way. That way you can track your sights. That's the best drill I have. So take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, this guy, he made me laugh today when he was practicing his dry fire. We're in his room playing some games. I had to put headphones on because he's 5 feet away from me. I'm trying to hear the game. I hear,
whoop! Yeah.
Whoop! Really loud. I'm like, yeah, can you just, for a minute?
Yeah. Because I use my timer when I dry fire, and it's very loud. Other drills, just working on, drawing at far targets and then drawing and then moving to another target, keeping, being able to find those sights. And just do a whole bunch of draws. Like last week when I was working on finding the dot, getting ready for that match, I probably spent 10 minutes just doing my draw and getting everything down, getting my grip right every time. So every time I drew the gun, I saw the exact same sight picture. All right, so this next question, this will be our last question, comes from the Paracast. So the Paracast is another practical shooting podcast. They're probably my favorite practical shooting podcast. I've been listening to them for the last couple of years. They're kind of where I got started in the practical shooting podcast. Really great guys. Steve Koski, Kenny Terry, Tomas, the boss, Nelson. All those guys are really great. So they followed me on Instagram. So they asked this question. I think it's a good question to end the show on. What are you doing today to move up to the next level? It's a good question.
Well, for me, I am working out more.
Yeah.
Trying to lose weight, get a little more active. That way I can move quicker. That's about it for me.
Yeah, that's good because USPSA does require a lot of movement. For me, I'm trying to stick to my dry fire because I can't always go to the range and shoot. So I figured if I can't go to the range and shoot, I can at least spend 15 minutes in the dry fire because that doesn't cost anything. I already have my gun, my timer, and my targets. So it just costs a little bit of time. I saw a huge improvement at that match from doing the dry fire. I really felt confident. I'm going to continue that even when I get busy and I can't go to the range. I think definitely the dry fire. What about you?
Really, I'm just kind of watching y'all try to get used to my handguns. Maybe thinking about it later on in life, but not right now. There's too much other stuff I got to do first.
Yeah, you're in college. I think it would be hard to shoot USPSA in college.
Yeah.
I think we will get Blake out on the range though and shooting. I think
not now though, because I got to work and stuff on the college.
Just don't shoot Dad's bullets.
No, I shot those to the shield. They had some heat.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them and let my friends shoot them. So that's really what I'm doing is working on trying to be consistent. I think consistency for me is a big thing, and I felt like at that match I was really consistent because of the dry fire. But because I also I try to just be very level-headed and calm. Sometimes I get really worked up when I shoot. So I think me being level-headed, being calm, it really helped. And trying to just be consistent. do everything that I'm going to do it and shoot to my ability. Sometimes I try to outshoot my ability. I like to go Ricky Bobby and go fast. And I just try to get my hits. I didn't have any misses or any penalties until the very last stage where I had one shot on a no shoot. So that for me, that's great because I usually shoot a lot of penalties. So,
hey, you know some advice about that?
What?
If you shoot a no shoot, no hostage situation.
That's true. Yeah. They shouldn't have been in front of my gun. They should have been paying attention.
I told a guy that at my last match, and he hit that hostage right between the eyes, man. Not on purpose, but
yeah. And I barely hit it too. I transitioned. I just got too hot on the gun. I transitioned and plugged it, man, just barely. All right, so I just want to thank Tristan, Kevin, Douglas, the Paracast guys, Andrew, and Mr. Jeff. Thank you guys for sending in questions. I really do like answering these questions. It kind of adds a little bit something to our show. I don't know if we'll do it every time. We might do it every once in a while. If we get like a whole bank of questions, we'll definitely answer questions whenever we can. Yeah, I like asking the questions. I don't think we really have any. We don't have any more questions or anything you want to add or plug before we hop out of this thing.
Well, go ahead, Blake.
Well, I really don't have anything, but like I said, I'm still kind of learning. I'm still listening to y'all's older podcasts. I'm not caught up yet, but yeah.
You want to plug any of your social media so the peoples can find you, or no? You want to say?
I mean, Tactical is Bacon, but I haven't been on there in a long time. But I'm a blacksmith and a beginning jeweler. If you want to follow bare metal smithing, I do post some stuff on there so often. Or yeah, I mean, if you really want to, but like I said, I haven't posted in a while.
I'll post those in the show notes so y'all can follow them. What about you there, Dad? You want to post your social medias?
Well, you can follow me on C31 Leatherwood on Instagram, and I challenge all of you PCC shooters to change my mind.
Yeah, PCC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for you, but I don't want to shoot with you.
Yeah, every time I sign up and practice score for a match, if I see like more than 2 PCC people on my squad, I'll change it because I'm like, nah. So. Let me just, I guess I'll just pay the bills and I'll do some of the logistical stuff. So follow us. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and leave us that 5-star rating. And then leave us a review. If we get enough reviews, we will do a review show, and that would be very interesting. We're like at 4.0 stars. We have a couple like 2 and 3-star reviews. I kind of wish those people would have left reviews instead of just giving us a star. So give us some feedback because, we like feedback so we can make our show better. I feel like our show quality is getting better. You can follow me on Instagram at Practical as Buck. I post a lot of stuff on Instagram. The Facebook page, Shoot, Reload, Repeat Podcast. Just search that on Facebook. Shoot the little blue button, little blue thumb until it turns blue. I pretty much everything I post on my Instagram, I try to post on to the Facebook page as well. Dad is also an admin on there. He's posted some stuff. So go like that page so that way when we do ask for questions or follow me on Instagram or Dad on Instagram, so that way y'all can definitely be a part of it. We like to hear what y'all have to say. I like connecting with the people that listen to the show. That's all we got for tonight. Thank you guys for listening. Shoot fast and don't suck.